Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Andrew, and today I want to give you 6 ways to make you more likable. I did not come up with these 6 ways on my own. I actually got them from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a really good read. I highly suggest you read it, but if you don't have time, don't sweat it because I'm going to talk about it. Alright, so principle 1, become genuinely interested in other people. There's a quote in this book that I think sums it up perfectly, and it's that we are interested in others when they are interested in us. So here's the deal. Everyone can be interesting because everyone views every situation differently. You might agree on the same thing, but you don't see it the exact same way. There can be some element that they see that you don't, and that right there is interesting. It broadens your horizons, and I personally think the more you know, the more interesting you are. So show you're genuinely interested in people. Ask them questions about their hobbies or their passions. And if they say, oh, I love collecting coins, ask them how they got there. They probably have an interesting story of how they became interested in coins and all these different facts that they have about them, and they would probably love to share that with you because it's something that they're passionate about. And in turn, you're actually gaining knowledge not only on that person and who they are, but whatever subject they're talking about, because you're gaining a different perspective, which is always valuable. So principle number 2, smile. It is the best feeling when you walk past somebody that you don't even know and they give you an honest smile. I'm not talking about one of those awkward ones where it's like, I'm passing you in this hallway and so it's socially unacceptable if I just look at my shoes. I'm not talking about the quick, I'm talking about a real smile, like the kind that you get when you see somebody that you're happy to see. Try it sometime. Walk past someone you know or don't know and just smile at them. Look them in the eyes and just give them a nice, genuine, warm smile. And I think you'll see that 95% of the time they'll smile back. Principle number 3, remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Even though we share the same name with thousands of people, for whatever reason, it still makes us feel important whenever people know us by our names. And if you don't believe me, go out and try it. The next time you go out to eat, make it a point to remember the server's name. Make it a point to remember how it's pronounced. Now if they say it and it's a name that you're unfamiliar with, go ahead and ask them again. Say, I'm so sorry, I didn't get your name clearly. What was it again? Now later on throughout your meal, whenever they come back to help you, whether it be they refill your glass, they take your plate, they give you your food, whatever, look them in the eyes, say thank you, and then say their name. You will not believe the difference in service you will get whenever you use a person's name rather than when you don't, because you are acknowledging them. In their mind, they are Evelyn. You know that they're Evelyn, you know who they are. And that's really important to people. I think we've all felt it. Have you ever had a crush on someone and they come up to you and say your name and you're just like, because you don't even know what to do with yourself. You're just so, you're like, they know my name, they know who I am, they said my name. It makes you feel good. I don't know why, but I really do believe people like it when you use their name. You know what else people like? Principle number 4, be a good listener and encourage others to talk about themselves. Everyone enjoys talking about themselves. Just listen in one conversation to how many times you, along with the other person, say the word I. People in conversation usually respond with something that involves themselves. You'll find a lot of conversations will go like this. Hey, how was your weekend? Oh my god, it was awesome. I went to Florida and I got to go visit my family and we went to the beach and it was a lot of fun. Oh my god. I love Florida. I went to Florida like 3 years ago and I actually got to go on a cruise ship there. It was literally the best weekend of my life. Florida is awesome. Did you realize there I not once asked the other person at all about their trip? They said they went on their trip, but I immediately connected it with the fact that I've gone on a trip that was similar, and all I wanted to do was talk about my trip and how great it was. I didn't spend any time asking them about their trip. So instead of following up with I completely understand, no one cares that you understand. They don't want to know that you understand. They want to talk. They want to talk about themselves just like how you want to talk about yourself. So if you want to be more interesting, let them talk. Encourage them to talk. So ask them questions. When somebody says, I went to the beach in Florida, you can say, Florida is beautiful, but there's a difference between saying, I love Florida and Florida is beautiful. So instead of saying, I love Florida, I've been there one time, say something like, Florida is beautiful, what did you do? That gives them the opening to talk about what they want. So if you're doing Principle 4 and letting people talk about themselves, then you'll also probably be doing Principle 5, which is talking about what the person is interested in. Remember how I said in Principle 1 that everyone is interesting? So if it's somebody that you don't know, you know nothing about them, then you can ask them what they're interested in and then follow up on that. You know, if you know nothing about the topic, ask them to explain it to you. I'm sure they would love to, and then you will gain a different insight. If it's somebody that you already know, maybe you already know something that they're interested in. So go ahead and look up something on that topic that you're interested in. So if somebody is really interested in psychology, maybe you want to know more about how people work, right? So you look up a couple of things on it, and then you take those topics and you can say, hey, you know, I know that you love psychology. I was reading about A, B, and C. I wanted to know your opinion on it, right? And then you're actually gaining information that you genuinely wanted to know, and at the same time, you're allowing them to talk about something that they enjoy talking about. And last but not least, we have Principle 6. Make the person feel important and do it sincerely. I think a really good way of doing this is making people feel validated. Just really listening to them and showing your care and concern or interest in whatever they're talking about. You know, take the time to really remember your conversations so that when you go back to that person, you can follow up on them. Bottom line is everybody loves to talk about themselves. So if you want to be more interesting and have more people like you, be the listener, not the talker. In most conversations you have, unless people are asking you questions, you should be talking less than they are and seem attentive and interested. Just try it. Give yourself the test. Go through a conversation with somebody and try to not say things like I or talk about yourself as much. Don't try to relate to them in a way that makes it all about you. Try to show them that you are trying to understand their point of view and learn more about them. If you have something that you want to add, please feel free to drop it down below. I would personally love to read it. I'm sure other people would as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.